This is Inside Dance TV and my name is Sarah. For this episode we're speaking to Bellyflop, who are fast becoming influential players on the contemporary dance scene here in the UK.
Bellyflop is an online magazine. It was officially started in 2008, so this September we celebrated our 5th birthday. And the 8 people who are in the sort of editorial core group are Louise Mochia, Alexandrina Hemsley, Jamila Johnson-Small, Gillie Kleiman, Charlie Ashwell, Alice, Ellie and myself.
We're a magazine that talks about dance, contemporary dance, in the kind of widest sense of the word. And we're all dance artists ourselves, and that's kind of our thing, is that we are working artists and we're writing about dance from inside the scene, rather than kind of to offer an alternative to people writing from outside, such as academics or journalists.
What does it mean for you guys to be involved in Bellyflop as individual artists?
What does it mean? In a way, for me, it's exactly the same as my other practice, and totally a step aside. In the sense that I think I'm always trying to, in some way or another, stage an intervention into something, whatever my work is. I'm trying to add something that isn't already there in order to change what the total is, or something like that. So rather than a kind of pushback or fight, to add something which changes the total picture.
Mm.
And I think that's what Bellyflop does, or that's the process that Bellyflop goes through. But of course, normally I make performances and artworks, and here we write.
So Bellyflop is a magazine, but we've also been we've been asked over the last year and more, just over a year, to put on a series of events. So we've been writing, but also finding a way to combine a kind of written practice with the artistic practice, and bringing other people that we think should be seen and their work seen into a couple of different festivals and venues.
So in January we did Wildcard at Sadler's Wells, which was a new initiative for them. So we put on some of our own work and some of the work of other artists, and it was great. It was a lot of work, but it was 2 very packed nights full of stuff that we were really excited about. So at the moment we're working on Fringe, which is part of Dance Umbrella 2013.
Tell us why you're working with Bellyflop.
Well, over the past couple of years I've gotten to know several of the Bellyflop girls, and I really like the way they think. I think they're very good writers. I like the fact that they're opinionated. I like the fact that they're really out there women. Last year we worked with them as writers in residence in the festival, and I wanted to develop that relationship this year. So together we decided that the next step was for them to curate 4 evenings of their own through the festival. And I'm thrilled they decided to call it Fringe, because in Dance Umbrella's 35 years, this is the first Fringe, and independently curated. Until tonight, I hadn't seen anything of what they'd selected.
Bellyflop is not one singular critical voice, and we go to see the same things but don't think the same thing about them.
Mm.
And you can read a review by one person and it will be entirely different in kind of tone and opinion from another person's. And we wanted that to somehow be reflected in our programme for Fringe, as well as in the work that we do online and in the publication. This thing of multiplicity of voices and kind of flattened hierarchies, that there are many different voices, but that none of them kind of seeks to claim more authority than the others.
And we have made a hard publication a paper publication, which is something we haven't done for years.
Printed publication.
Yeah, printed publication.
Yeah, it's an actual run in this case. In the past, we've just had one-off sort of printed copies of things that have mainly been only available online, and so this is a kind of unprecedented, really. I think there are 120 copies.
Yes, limited edition.
Contributions are from a range of people, and it's been put together by Bellyflop and the White Back Movement. It's a small but perfectly formed publication, and it's available to buy this evening for £5. It's the cheapest book you'll ever buy. And since you all got it free.
For me, I really find the process of writing kind of is the process of thinking about dance for me. Like, the two aren't different. Like, it's in Bellyflop that I do my reflection on the world that we're making dance in, which I don't know what I'd do without that now.
Later this autumn, we have Key Positions, which is a symposium by Bellyflop. It's going to be a 2-day event at Chisenhall Dance Space and Toynbee Studios on the 22nd and 23rd of November.
So there are 4 sessions in our symposium, and each one has a particular way of defining or shaping the conversation, so an environment in which the conversation happens. And within each one there are 3 presentations or performances by artists, writers, speakers, thinkers, and they'll intervene in the conversation in different ways.
And the whole event kind of revolves around the idea of taking a position, and what that means and what it means to change position.
It's also a kind of, in a sense, it's a reflection on kind of a year's worth of Bellyflop work, and trying to find out what our position is and whether that needs to be stable or whether it needs to be collective or whether it can include all our different opinions and whose other positions and opinions can be involved in our work together. And
kind of encouraging people to state their position and their opinion as part of their practice and as part of a collective practice within dance. We feel like it needs to be encouraged, this kind of saying what you think.
The seed for the existence of Bellyflop was Louise's desire to have a magazine out there in the scene that was reporting on dance and performance in a way that she found interesting. She didn't find other publications like very palatable. She wasn't interested enough in the content or the way that the writing, the register of the writing maybe, and so she really was advocating this, championing a subjectivity of opinion, and she was really interested in her friends, her peers. She was saying, I want to hear what you think about this, I want to get an interview with that person, people who had sort of experience and that we were kind of interested in but didn't feel like we had access to. It was a personal importance to her that Bellyflop existed, and then other people who feel the same, like perhaps have been attracted to reading it. So,
and then other people like us who feel the same have just hung around and kept it going.
Yeah.
There is a sort of myth that people can write objectively, and that's kind of what we're trying to kind of eradicate, this myth. But so it's also not been completely like, easy ride somehow. Like, it's, people aren't used to people being honest. People react very differently to the idea of there being an interaction between artists and critics. Sometimes people think that it's not something that can work, and like a lot of people have been really excited about it because it's somehow important for people to sort of know that it's possible to be public in what we expressing thoughts about work.
And we're always interested in new contributions, whether that's something that someone's already written and they can send it to us and we'll have a look at it, and if it's something we can publish, we will. Or if people are interested in reviewing, we like to make it possible for people to write the first time and try it out, because it might be new for them and it's a new person for us. And then if we can, we invite people back to write again.
Yeah. We'd like to build relationships with people interested in the kind of work that we do.